Good morning. Good morning. The personal sphere, your personal area of your life is internal, your relationship with yourself, and then the people who are immediately around you, your family, the people who you live in your house with. So how you treat yourself, the things that you think about, the vibes and the feelings that you permeate and that you stick with and stay in are going to determine your experience in life. So that's how the personal relationship works with you. The things you think about, they don't like me, I don't like them, I don't like this is not good, why this, why that, they should be doing this, why don't they do that, why is this always happening, just focusing on all the negative things, which is very easy to do because that is what the collective does. It is easier for people to relate to bad experiences because they have bad experiences more. Pain and all of that type of stuff is common, so people relate to it, and they tune in to that station because it's like if you're listening to a radio, you tune into the station that you understand the most, the one that you relate to the most. There are plenty of stations. There are stations that you can learn on. There are stations that you can, let's just say learn from. Period, on the radio. It's not too much more that you're going to be doing. So if you, so if you're tuning into that radio station because that's the one that you're most familiar with everyone else, then that's just where you're going to be at however, if you tune to another radio station that is, like I was saying, that you can learn from. So on this radio station, they're talking about cooking. Okay, so you can have different kind of radio stations. Okay, or let's say podcasts, because that's more relevant. Podcasts are definitely more relevant to us today, and especially when it comes into the frequency that you are tuning into. So not like everyone, but like everyone has probably heard about the manosphere, and then if you're in the manosphere, then you've probably heard about, I don't know what they call the women that do podcasts, but like sprinkle, and then someone in what do you call that? I guess in retaliation or whatever, in opposition to that, made the male version drizzle. So like that's an example of people who are living in a certain context, beating a certain drum. Like you're not getting any better. You're just you're just evolving more in that space, but that's not necessarily like a good move. That's not necessarily a good look. So changing the podcast that you listen to. So if you stop listening to those podcasts and then you start listening to podcasts that are like about music, you're learning about music. Perhaps you're learning tips and stuff to play music. They're playing the instrument while they're talking about the thing that you're listening to, or cooking. They're telling you different tips and tricks, talking about their experiences and things like that. What other kind of podcast? It's even dance. What is it like to try to be a professional in the dance world? How do you get better at dancing? Those could be two totally different podcasts. One of them can only talk about being a professional. They can only host professionals, and then the other one can only talk about being a better dancer and only bring on up and coming dancers or dance teachers or things like that, or really good dancers. They're not necessarily known to be professional, but they're really good dancers, so that's who we're going to talk to. that's the personal sphere. What you are tuning yourself to is what you're going to evolve into. Now, what you evolve into is going to determine what your public experience is. So if you have been listening to podcasts about cooking and stuff like that, chances are when you get out into the world, you're going to notice certain smells. When you go into certain restaurants, you're going to notice the food and you're going to notice the quality and the ingredients and things like that. And it would probably lend you to be going to places where you can, what was I going to say? Like, talk to and communicate and share this information, because this is what you've been thinking about now. Like just picture like a restaurant that has a bar, and you can also eat food, and they have like a good array of food. So if you go into this place, depending on what kind of podcast you've been listening to could very well determine where you even go sit. You know, if you've been listening to sports podcasts and stuff like that, you're probably going to go sit at the bar so you can watch the sports people on the TV. If you've been listening to sport podcasts about how to get a man at the bar, then you're probably going to go sit at the bar to try to get a man. If you've been listening to them about how to pick up women out at the bar, then you're going to go sit at the bar. If you've been listening to that food podcast, you're going to go sit at the table and, try to order some food. If you've been listening to a self-dating podcast, you're going to go sit at the table and take yourself on a nice date. 5 people could show up to the same place, but because of where they're tuned into, they're all going to do different things and they're all going to have a totally different experience, which is how life can go and as it should go. But remember, you can really it's really up to you, the type of life and the type of experience that you have. Now, here's another thing about the public and how it goes back to relating to the personal. Before we got here, so in the beginning with my self world, we all chose to be here. I believe that we choose our parents. I believe that we have intentions in our vortex, and we come to earth to fulfill a mission and a purpose. I don't believe we're just this. I just don't believe nothing is for nothing. I believe everything is here for a reason. All the bugs, all the trees, everything is here for a reason, including you and I. So, having said that, what happens outside in the world is like the walls in the maze, and the closer you are to your station, or let me say, because we're talking about stations and we're talking about podcasts. So the public is like, I'll come up with a like scenario for that. But anyways, what you feel and experience out in the world helps your person determine the direction in which you should be going. So if you're out and about and things are happening and you like it, then good. You like it, I love it. That's the way that you should be going. But if you find yourself like, I don't like this shit sucks, what the fuck is going on, wah 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 wah, you know what I mean? Like, if you find yourself like just not loving life, then it's time, take that as a cue that you're not in the right frequency, like you're not where you need to be, and you need to tune to the music not being so annoying. Okay, so public is like the sound that comes back to you. So personal is like the vibration that you send out. Public is what comes back to you. And sometimes what comes back to you will sound dissonant, cognitive dissonance. And that's how you know when something is going. So cognitive dissonance is when you are saying one thing and doing another. I want to be healthy, but you do not do what the fuck your doctor tells you to do. I want to be in a good relationship, but you don't do any good relationship skill building. I want to be a good parent, but you don't do any learning about being a good parent. You know, little stuff like that. I want to get a raise, I want to get a promotion, but you're not doing anything promotion worthy. Cognitive dissonance. So when and that's okay, let's do all that. Let's go back. So one of those, I want to get a promotion, but I'm not doing anything promotion worthy. I've been at a job for over 3 years and my position has not changed at all. Not only has it not changed at this job, but it has not changed outside of this job either. I'm still living the same life that I was 3 years ago. But I'm claiming that I want more. So there's something that's not clicking, Stephen. So you're either not going to school, you're not taking the opportunities that your job has for you to grow, or you're not accepting the fact that you're not going to grow there, so you need to go find somewhere else to be. I want to be a good parent, but I'm not doing anything worthy of being a good parent. You're not doing therapy. You're not surrounding your children with a good environment and other good role models and showing them what other adults look like doing things. You're not holding your child accountable for becoming a better person. I want to be in a good relationship, but I'm not doing better relationship things. You're not trying to listen to your partner for real and do the things that they're asking you to do, because your ass chose to be in a relationship. So if you don't want to do something that a motherfucker asking you to do, don't, but also you asked to be in that relationship. Nobody asked you to be in that relationship. I'm going to have to wrap this up soon, like in 2.5 seconds. But all that cognitive dissonance is going to eventually come back to you. And so that's what you need to use to tune to say, all right, well, what is it that I need to do then to get to where it is that I need to get? That's called a gap. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we go on, because we do the gap thing a lot. But get the Work on Myself book if you want a personal tool to help you get your shit together one season at a time. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned.